Right, shall we start? Here we are discussing about this console post acquisition adjustments, right? We discuss about intercompany receivables and payables. Receivables and payables. Is done, right? Now we are going to discuss the company. This one. Intercompany loans and borrowings. It's interest, right? This one. Intercompany loans and borrowings. Interesting. Intercompany payable and receivables, current accounts done, right? Now we're going to discuss intercompany loans and borrowings, right? Intercompany loans and borrowings. Intercompany loans and borrowings. After the acquisition of a subsidiary, right? After the acquisition of a subsidiary, parent company can give a loan to subsidiary. Parent company can give a loan to subsidiary. The subsidiary company can give a loan to parent entity. The subsidiary company can give a loan to parent entity. Both scenarios. One entity is showing as a liability, Another entity is showing as an asset, showing as an investment. The entity is showing as an investment. Further, interest income and interest expense will be adjusted to the P&L. Will be adjusted to the P&Ls. P&Ls SN. P&L දෙක. One company adjusts income, other company adjusts expense, right? Once you are doing consolidation, this intercompany, loans and receivables, intercompany, loans and borrowings, and investment, loans and borrowing and investment balances, and interest income and interest expenses, interest income and interest expense amounts should be eliminated. Once you are doing this adjustment, it is required to careful. It is required to focus. Okay, careful. It's required to focus on the loan granting date. On the loan granting date. That will be impacted to the interest reversal. Right. Can you do this question 5? Question 5. P has given loan amount 5 million to Q. Loan was granted 30th June 2022. The interest rate was 12%. Both companies have not recorded the actual interest. We are going to do this. P has given a loan amount of 5 million to Q. This is a parent has given subsidiary loan to subsidiary. But in this scenario, question 5.5, what is the scenario? Subsidiary to parent or parent to subsidiary? Parent to subsidiary. Right? Parent to subsidiary. How much is the loan? 5 million. 5 million. 5 million. Parent. Subsidiary. 5 million. At the point of granting the loan, disbursing the loan, that's a double entry. Parent subsidy loan is the loan double entry further. Parenting, cash credit, debit to Q account, Q loan account, right? The subsidiary having a loan investment, right? Loan is the double entry. Fast. එක entity එක asset එකක් තියෙනවා the entity එකේ liability. This is similar to that current account. Only difference is what? The interest. Interest is the difference. Interest how much? 12%. 12% interest. 12% interest. And very important factor is what? Granting date. This is for year 2022, right? 2022. Granting date 30th June 2022. For the year, it is relevant for 6 months. 6 months. How about the interest then? 5 million into 12% into half. Is interest, right? Focus about the loan granting date. Very important. And here, the best part is, you will be very happy about this. Both companies have not recorded the accrual interest. Both companies, they have not recorded the accrual interest. Then are you going to record it? No need, right? Skip that. You are very lucky. Why? You just want to eliminate the capital amount only. Right? If they have recorded accrual interest, how they are going to record it? How much is the number? Zero point 0.3. 0.3. Parent, how are you going to record that? Interest income, credit 0.3. This account, interest receivable, loan receivable debit 0.3. Here, how are we going to accrue? Interest expense debit 0.3. Credit here 0.3. Okay. Then both areas should be eliminated. Debit here 5.303. 5.03 debit here. Credit here, debit here. Intercompany balance will be eliminated. Okay. This is the way you need to adjust this. But here, we don't have this part. Because they have not adjusted the accrual interest. Then what we need to do? Pass the double entry. Subsidiary account debit, parent account credit. the way you input recorded question number 5 දාගෙන මේකත් කැමති විදිහට දාගෙන. Yeah. Right. If you want to reflect the balance sheet, what's happening? How about the balance sheet? Right. This is the way you are going to reflect with the balance sheet. Here we have adjustment. Here, liability, you may have current, non-current classification as well. If you want to put in detail, current, non-current classification may be there. Current portion, non-current portion, but here we are not going to that extent. Okay. දැන් මේක ඇඳ ගන්නකොට කොහොමද? හොඳට දැනගන්න ඕන මේ මොකද්ද මේ දාලා තියෙන්නේ? P receivable amount removing. This is the entry, right? The payable, here we are having the payable. We are removing that, putting a debit entry. Where is this? This one. Okay. Right? I hope it's clear. Intercompany current account, liability, loans. It is clear now, right? Now we are moving to intercompany PPE disposal. Intercompany PP&E disposal. Intercompany PPE disposal. Property, plant and equipment disposal. What are the options we are having? Parent sold to subsidiary, subsidiary sold to parent, parent sold to subsidiary for loss, for profit, for loss, for profit. Right? These four scenarios, one of four scenarios can be tested in the මේ අතරින් එකක් සෑම් එකේ test කරනවා. Right? This will be land or other asset. Land or other asset. Scenarios තියෙනවා. 8 scenarios තියෙනවා. Equally එකයි test කරනවා. එකයි test කරනවා. Land can be sold by subsidiary to parent for profit. For other asset can be sold by a subsidiary to parent, the loss. So you can understand where I see, right? If it is a land, what about you? If it is a land, you are so happy, right? If it is a other asset, if it is other asset, why? You are having depreciation. You are having depreciation. That's the sad part. You are having two adjustments. So here we are discussing about what's the asset adjustment, how we are going to do it. Very easy. Understand the logic. I'm not going to discuss about these 8 scenarios here. Only 2 scenarios I'm discussing. Can you check that what's the scenario we are discussing here? Second one, Q company has sold the land for 30 million as of 30th. The book value of the land 28 million. Is the land sold by subsidiary for profit. For profit. This is scenario. For profit. Right? Then what we have to do? Now I'm subsidiary selling a recorded land to the parent with a profit. At the point of selling, subsidiary, how they are going to record it? At the point of selling, subsidiary, disposal account, land account credit, disposal account debit, how much? 28. Okay. Here we have 30. 30 million cash number. Cash debit, credit to here. You don't have depreciation, right? Otherwise, if it is a area using for mining purpose or sea erosion type of a land, we can depreciate. Otherwise, we are not going to depreciate because we can't determine the Mike ඔයාලට කියන්නේ ඔයාලට කියන්නේ නේද? අර සිංගර්ස් ලානේ සින්දුව කියාගෙන කියලා එකපාරට මෙහෙම කරාම ඔයාලා කියන්නේ. දන්නේ නැහැ කියන්නේ එයා මයික් එක දෙන්නේ දන්නම පාට එකද නොදන්න ටිකකටද? දන්නම කෙල්ල දෙන එකට තමයි මයික් එක ඔයාලට දෙන්නේ. So at that time you need to tell that. So we are not going to do the depreciation for lands because of we can't determine the useful lifetime of the asset. Right? Useful lifetime of the asset. Okay. Here we are having 30 and 28. 30 and 28. 32 other income. Debit here, credit here, other income too. We have recorded like this in the subsidiary. We are moving to the parent now. How they have recorded this? They have purchased a land from subsidiary. Land account debit 30. Cash account credit 30. That's it. Okay. Now we are going to consolidate. We need to assume that as these two parties as one. What they are considering as one? Is there any transaction? Is there any asset purchase? No. Intercompany, we transfer that asset to other company. But in the books, they have recorded 2 million gain. This was overstated asset. Right? Overstated asset. Then what we need to do? This overstatement. Land 28 books and 30 better. The one party has recorded the gain. It is an unrealized gain as a one entity. They have overstated the land. Then we need to remove this overstatement. What's the double entry we need to put? The land account credit to debit to the other income account. Okay. Then this will be nullified. This will reduce to 28. Okay. Or else, if there's another way, we need to reverse the transaction with cash entries. No need to do that. Okay, now we know cash empty no. Here cash, credit 30 cash. Here debit 30 cash. Right? 30 cash. End of the day, once you're consolidating, where you keep wherever you keep in the cash, you are adding that. No need to adjust it. Hey, the cash මොකද කරන්නේ balance sheet එකේ? Cash P Q cash amount this 30 right? Console adding to here into here. Removing and adjusting and adding that from point. You can remove the overstatement. The gain reverses with the asset value. Okay. Bagi gain එක remove කරලා දාන්න. Loss එකක් ආවත් එහෙම. Right? That's how we are dealing with lands. Lands may be very easy. Identify the gain, remove it. Check whether gain recorded by the subsidiary or the parent. If it is subsidiary, adjust to the subsidiary return earnings. If it is parent, adjust to the consolidated return earnings. That's the equation you need to familiar. Right? Any doubts? Gain එක අයින් කරන්න ඕනේ. මේකේ notes ලියාගත්තද නැහැ? ආයි. After acquisition of subsidiary, intercompany property disposals can be happen. Intercompany property disposals can be happen. Intercompany property disposals can be happen. The gain or loss arising from the disposal. The gain or loss arising from the disposal will overstate or understate the overall PPE balance. Will overstate or understate the overall PPE balance as a one entity. Therefore, the gain or loss should be reversed. And the impact should be adjusted to the asset value. Impact should be adjusted to the asset value. Asset value. If this relates to other than land, other than land, other than land, the overstatement or understatement, the overstatement or understatement will be depreciated by the respective entity. Respective entity. Since at the point of reversal of this overstatement or understatement, since at the point of reversal of this understatement or overstatement, the depreciation impact also should be adjusted. The overstatement or understatement, the depreciation impact also should be adjusted. The possible scenarios illustrated below. Here I'm automatically possible scenarios illustrated below. Here the future may can the depreciation of the right? Take and again example. What is the example? Example 2. Example 2. It must make it right? Other income වලට කියන තව නමක් මොකද්ද? නහරි. Consolidated earning. මේක parent ගේ නිසා. Consolidated earnings, right? මේක තේරුම් නැත්නම් කියන්න. මේක තේරුම් නැතුණු මානත් එකයි. Other income equal consolidated earnings. ඒක තේරෙන්නේ නැත්නම් කියන්න. මෙතනදී other income වලට adjust කරනවා. අපි consolidated earnings වලට adjust කරනවා කියලා තමයි කියන්නේ. Why? We are doing the balance sheet, right? Whatever the profit, we adjust to the return earnings, right? So, I didn't get you. Oh, hey. අපි මේ මොකක්ද? එතන සබ්සිඩියරි එක තමයි සෙල් කරලා තියෙන්නේ. Question number 2 මේක ඇඳගෙන මේ chart එක ඇඳගෙන question number 2 එකේ මේ scenario එක කියන දාගන්න. කොහෙද? sold to parents by subsidiary. So subsidiary books වල disposal account. So we are taking 30, taking 28. මෙතන consolidated earnings subsidiary return earnings, right? Again, subsidiary return earnings, right? Subsidiary return earnings. If we are doing this parent to subsidiary, consolidated earnings. ඇයි මුදට මතක් කරලා බලන්න ඇයි එහෙම කරන්න ඕනේ? මොකද ඉම්පැක්ට් එක? ගේන් එක එකට දාන ඉම්පැක්ට් එක. Subsidiary return earnings මොකද අපි අන්තිමට කරේ? දෙකට කඩලා we put to NCI and the consolidated earnings, right? If we are putting directly to the consolidated earnings, there's no impact to the NCI. If you remember that, that's why we are putting to subsidiary return earnings. End of the day, we need to split that to NCI and consolidated earnings. There's impact to consolidated earnings, but there's impact to NCI as well. So your question, what is that? Your question? Yes. Before that, returning again. Overstate velocity in the company. Once you are doing consolidation as a one entity, there's no such a gain or loss. Because of that, individually identified gain or loss should be reversed with the asset value. What is the gain here too? That gain should be reversed with the asset value. පේරන්ගේ land account එකයි අර මොකද්ද cash account එකයි ඒක cash account එක ලියන්න එපා හොඳද එතකොට උනොත් තව ලියන්න වෙනවා අර නේද ඒ පල්ලන් දැන්න මැක්කක් දැන්නලා දිගට ලියන්න මේක අදින්න යන්න එපා තේරුම් නැහැ නේ මෙතන cash කියලා ලියන්න land එකක් ගන්නකොට cash credit debit to land account ඒක දැන් හිතනවා දැන් මේවා ගහන්න යන්නේ නැහැ එක්සෑම් එකේ. ඔළුවෙන් හදන්නේ දඩබඩ ගන්න. right? Okay? මේක entry එක මොකද්ද? console adjustment එක මොකද්ද? මේක තමයි කරලා තියෙන්නේ. මේක තමයි adjustment එක. credit here, debit here. මේක තමයි console adjustment එක. මේක තමයි adjust කරන්නේ. That is scenario 1, right? Scenario 1. Done. Okay. And then coming to scenario 3. Do this. Put that scenario 2. To method refer කරලා මේ point එක හදන්න. Okay. What is that? P company has sold a motor truck to Q company. Parent to subsidiary. Parent to subsidiary other asset. Parent to subsidiary other asset at a profit. Yes. At a profit. At a profit. This one. This is the scenario. This is the scenario. Parent sold subsidiary with a profit. Other asset motor truck. How we are going to do that? ලියලා ඉවර නම් කියන්න මේක දාන හදනකොට බලන් ඉන්නවා. දැන් මේක මකන්නද? and I erase this. Okay. Right. P company has sold a motor truck to Q company. P Q. Right. Disposal account. Disposal gain account. So here, motor truck account. Depreciation account. Motor truck. Two separate entities books. A company sold motor truck to Q company as of July 1st, 2022. That's very important. අපි ඒක ලියලා තියෙද? එකක් අරවදා ලියා ගන්න. අරවදා ලියා ගන්න. Once this other assets disposal, once this other assets disposal, the disposal date is very important for calculation of depreciation. Calculation of depreciation. ඒක රතු කරලා තියාගන්න. මොකද? ඔයා මෙතන මේ transaction එක වෙන්නේ when 1st July 2022. 1st July means 6 months. 2022 year. Transaction happening 1st 7/2022. For the year, only 6 months remaining. Keep remember that. That's very important. Company as of 1st 2022, right? The cost of the motor truck was 8.5 million. Was 8.5 million. 8.5 million, what are you going to do? Cost transfer करना. Cost transfer करना from the disposal account. Cost account credit debit here 8.5. Right? මේක දෙක වසර ගණිතය. Disposal account එකට cost එක accumulated depreciation එක බාර කරනවා කියන්නේ. Cost එක තියෙන asset එකේ debit credit there debit here. How about accumulated depreciation? 5 million. Accumulated depreciation කොහෙද තියෙන්නේ? Accumulated depreciation account credit. Debit there credit here 5. Accumulated depreciation cost. Right? We are selling for how much? 4 million. 4 million. Once you are selling, you are getting cash. Cash debit. Credit here. Right? Cash. How much of the 9? 9. Other income 0.5. Other income credit. PPE disposal 0.5. Done. The parent side done. Okay. How about the subsidiary side? They are purchasing a motor truck for 4 million. 4 million. Cash credit, debit here 4 million. Cash. And their depreciation, method depreciation rate taker will make it 10%. Right? Method depreciation rate taker. That's the issue. They are depreciating by 10%. Right? 10%. Let's say they are depreciating 4 into 10%. When the method again, for which period? For 12 months or 6 months? Huh? 6 months. Why? We dispose on 1st July 2022. That's why we focus. If you are having forward disposal, other than land and building, land, you need to focus about the date. So, because of that, into 2, right? 0.2. 0.2 depreciation. How are you going to depreciate? Credit here, depreciation expense, debit here. That's done. As a one entity, we need to consider now. Now we are going to do this consolidation adjustment. Now we are going to do this consolidation adjustment. How are we going to do that? You know, now we consider this as a one entity at the point of consolidation. Because of that, there's no transaction as a one entity. What they have done, they have recorded 0.5 gain. They have overstated asset. Remove this. Debit here, credit here. Keep it for 3.5. Because the net asset value is how much? 8.55. 3.5 is the value, book value. Now recorded is 4. Reduce it. Debit here 0.5, credit here 0.5. Right? And another entry should be passed because we depreciated this 4. Additional gain, this gain depreciated, it should be reversed. If you are reversing this gain, the depreciated value of that gain should be reversed. So the value is 0.5 into 10 into 1.2. How much? 0.025. What's the double entry? Depreciation credit 0.025. Debit here is 0.025. 0.025, right? So this depreciation we call as this subsidiary return earnings. Subsidiary return earnings. ඉතින් බලාගන්න බැරි දැන් තියනවා නේද? බලාගෙන ඉඳ ගන්නවට වඩා තේරුම් අරගෙන නෝට් කරගෙන කරගන්න එක තමයි වැදගත්. We are not going to reverse all depreciation, right? Why? Only we are reversing the overstatement of depreciation. Why we overstated the asset? We depreciated the overstated value. Yeah. $25 return. No. Oh. They're investment is gonna. They're doing the subsidy. Then we transfer that asset to subsidiary. We transfer that asset to subsidiary. In the parent books, how much is the value we have? 8.5. 5 is the accumulated depreciation. Book value is what? 3.5. එහෙම තියෙන asset එක 3.5 asset එක. Are you okay with that? 3.5 is the asset value. Now we are transferring to 4. Okay. So one entity, there's no such a the gain, right? One entity, it is still 3.5. But we are transferring that for 4. Both parties have recognized this. They have recognized as a asset 4. 4 කියලා asset එක recognize කරනවා. කරලා විතරක් නෙමෙයි depreciate කරනවා. ඒතර කීයක් එයා වැඩිපුර recognize කරගත්තා as a one entity 0.5. 0.5 එක නම් depreciate කරනවා. Depreciation entry එක මොකක්ද? Normal depreciation entry එක. This is a depreciation entry. This is a depreciation entry. Other depreciation entry. Depreciation debit, credit to asset account. What is this method? We are not using accumulated depreciation account. We are adjusting through the asset account. Depreciate adjust කරන්න පුළුවන් ක්‍රම දෙකක් තියෙනවා. Through the asset account we can do the depreciation. Through accumulated depreciation account we can do. Here we are doing through the asset account, right? We adjust the depreciation for overall 4. 4 එකට තමයි adjust කරන්නේ. මේ 4 එකට depreciation හොයාගත්ත විදිහ. නේද? ඉතින් හරියට අද ගන්න ඕන. දැන් 4 එකට depreciate කරාම 4 overstated. By how much? 0.5. 0.5 එකට overstatement එක අපි reverse කරනවා දැන් as a one entity. Once you are reversing the overstatement, your depreciation overstatement also will be reversed. Okay? How much? This 0.5 into එක කෝ කොහොමද reverse කරන්නේ? මෙහෙම නම් දැම්මේ reverse කරන්නේ මෙහෙම. පැහැදිලිව මාක් කරගන්නවා. Okay? .025. තේරුණාද නැද්ද? තේරුණාද? Right. So next topic. Legal consultancy or due diligence charges done by the parent entity at the acquisition. Legal consultancy and due diligence charges were done by the parent entity. Legal consultancy and due diligence charges were done by the parent entity for the acquisition. acquisition. What you are going to do then? Parent incurring some cost, legal consultant. What do you mean by due diligence? Have you done audit subject before? Sometimes you have to complete one audit subject. Okay. Once you are acquiring a company, at that point, the parent can do some activity to understand that entity. Right? You can refer the audited accounts. Through the audited accounts, you just can understand the book values. Right? Other than book values, there may be some other commitments. Maybe legal cases, some issues, some outside pressures. Everything should be studied. Right? For that, the parent entity doing independent due diligence test for the subsidiary company. Due diligence කියන්නේ වගේ දෙයක්. The due diligence එක තියෙන පුළුවන් IT due diligence and payroll or maybe some legal or overall due diligence, right? ඒක අපි independent party එකට දීලා කරගන්න activity එක. For that, they supposed to incur a cost. Based on that due diligence, they are deciding their share price. අපි subsidiary එක කිව්වොත් you have to pay 100 rupee per share. After doing our due diligence, what we are going to say? No, I'm not going to pay 100. You are having this much of legal cases. It is not in the books, but we can identify this activity. We are not ready to pay 100. We are supposed to pay 75. The share prices and everything will be decided based on the results we are getting from the due diligence, right? For that, we are doing that type of activity. For that, parent entity should incur a cost. Legal, consultation, due diligence, whatever the other service related cost, how we are going to account. ඒකේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ cash credit debit කියන්නේ parent. එහෙම නේද වෙන්න ඕනේ. එහෙම තමයි හරි. හැබැයි doubt එකක් තියෙනවා. කොහටද මේක දානවා කියලා. අපි at the point of acquisition we are preparing account code. Cost of control account, yes. Cost of control account. To calculate the goodwill. We have a doubt. Are we going to put that as a part of the goodwill? Cash credit of this parent entity, debit to here. Debit to here maybe 8,000. Debit to here. Once you are putting 8,000, that will be adjusted to goodwill. Goodwill like okay then. Goodwill again make a thing. Goodwill is that 40 hours again. Goodwill 40 hours. Credit here, goodwill account debit. Right? What 8,000 charge එක මේ account එකට ගෙනාවොත් මොකද වෙන්නේ goodwill එක? Goodwill එක 32 වලට අඩු වෙනවා. Doubt is whatever the consultancy charges can be adjusted to the goodwill. Cost of control account. No, it is very clear. Don't adjust to here. It is a part of P&L charge to the parent. P&L charge to the parent. Why? There's no impact to the goodwill of the subsidiary company. Let's say you are incurring this consultation fee, charges and everything, and because of that result, you are not going to acquire the company. So, if it is so, it is a charge to the parent entity. It is not charged to the goodwill of the subsidiary. It is not a part of that. Why? What do you mean by this goodwill? That is the invisible earning powers of the subsidiary. Right? Invisible earning powers of the subsidiary. Once you are as a parent entity, I am putting legal charges and everything, unnecessary charges. Is that impact to this? No, right? Mama, 8,000 නැතුව or 18,000. Whatever the charge you are putting, is that the impact to this future earning powers of subsidiary? No, right? It's up to you to decide. Some companies will already have this consultancy the task. If it is so, there's no such a charge. Then it is a decision taken by the parent, because of that, he has to bear that to his P&L. Then, whatever the consultancy, legal or due diligence charges should be charged to consolidated earnings, not to subsidiary, not to subsidiary return earnings, not to cost of control account. Right? That's it. So put a note. At the point of acquisition, parent entities, at the point of acquisition, parent entities may incur different types of cost. Different types of cost to arrange the acquisition transaction. Arrange the acquisition transactions. Those transactions will be decided by the parent entity. Will be decided by the parent entity. Will be decided by the parent entity. Those charges may not impact to the future earnings power of the subsidiary. Future earning power of the subsidiary. Because of that, those charges directly, those charges are, those charges are the direct cost, to parent entity. Since the double entries, cash credit, consolidated earnings debit. Cash credit, consolidated earnings debit. This one, example 6, 0.5 million. What is that? Acquisition of Q, P has incurred about legal administrative cost. Right. Right. Out. 7. අලුත් topic එක. අලුත් nature එකක්. Contingent liabilities at the acquisition date. Contingent liabilities of the subsidiary at the acquisition date. Contingent liability of the subsidiary at the acquisition date. Right. Yeah. As per case 37. As per case 37. Contingent liabilities are not accounted. Are not accounted. However, as per SLFRS 3 business combination, as per SLFRS 3 business combination, the contingent liabilities of subsidiaries, the contingent liabilities of the subsidiaries, as at the acquisition date, should be estimated and it should be adjusted to the goodwill. It should be adjusted to the goodwill. What it means to you? Once you are calculating goodwill, if that subsidiary having contingent liability, that should be adjusted. Why? Once you are calculating this goodwill, you are getting goodwill here, right? This is a type of a invisible asset, type of a future, the power recovery or earning power. But if there's some commitment, contingent liability, as at this day, the subsidiary company has not been recorded because as per case 37. As per case 37, its own books has not been reflected this contingent liability. The contingent liability මොකද්ද දැක්කේ? Disclose එකක් විතරයි. Count කරේ නැහැ. Because of that, it is not recorded. The net assets was not reflected. This contingent liability. Because of having contingent liability, net asset should be reduced. Net asset should be reduced. Contingent liability record කරොත් මොකද වෙන්නේ? Net assets. Net assets මොකද වෙන්නේ? අඩු වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඇයි? Contingent liability credit debit වෙන්නේ කොහටද? P&L. P&L debit වුණාම කොහටද debit වෙන්නේ? Retained earnings එක. එහෙනම් net assets අඩු වෙන්න ඕනේ. It is not being deducted. Because of that, your net asset has been overstated. Then you need to adjust that to the cost of control account. This adjustment to the goodwill. Let's say you are having a goodwill 5,000. You noted that there's a Contingent liability 500. 500. That has not been recorded. At the point of acquisition, if you have a contingent liability in the subsidiary, it should be recorded as element in the cost of control account. Then what's the double entry? Contingent liability account credit 500, cost of control account debit 500, contingent liability. Once you are putting 500 here, that will impact to the goodwill. So goodwill clear වෙන්නේ. Goodwill clear වෙන්නේ දැන් 4500. දැන් ඔතන ලියාගත්ත නේද? adjust to the goodwill කියලා. නේද? එතන ඉලක්ක ගහලා දාගන්න. Should debited to the cost of control account. ඒ කියන්නේ within bracket හරි කමක් නැහැ. Should be debited to the cost of control account. Should be debited to the cost of control account. Okay. So then here, example number 7. Example number 7. 2.4 million. මෙහෙම cost of control account එකක් දාලා debit කරලා ලස්සනට දාගන්න. goodwill එක මේ පැත්තෙන් දාලා goodwill එකක් නැහැ උනට number එකක් දාලා. Right. මේකෙන් පෙන්නන්නේ මොකද්ද? goodwill එක reduce වෙනවා කියලා. හරිද? goodwill will be reduced 5,000 to 4,500. Right after that, after putting this entry, if you want to put the double entry, find it. Cost of control account debit 500. Contingent liability account credit 500. ඒකත් ලියලා තියාගන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. Right. Put a topic, intercompany, other income. Intercompany, other income. Right. Intercompany other income. Right. So after the acquisition of subsidiary, subsidiary, there may be intercompany consultations, trainings, intercompany consultations, trainings, or different other income, different other income. Once we are preparing consolidated financial statement, this intercompany other income, this intercompany services should be eliminated as one single entity. This intercompany services should be eliminated as one single entity. Should be eliminated under one single entity. Under one single entity. These consultations can be given in two different ways. This other income. Parent to sub to parent, right? Parent to sub to parent. This one, point 8. Q company has given consultation to P company after the acquisition. The monthly charge was 20,000. The annual fee has been recorded in the books of Q only. Right? 20,000 into 12. Right? 240,000. 240,000 has been recorded by the Q. He record कर रहा है. Scenarios තුනක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් නේ. දැන් මෙතන scenarios දෙකක් තියෙනෝනේ. එක scenarios වෙන්න පුළුවන්. සමහරවිට මම දීලා තියෙන්න පුළුවන් මේක. Intercompany transaction නේ other income, parent to subsidiary to parent. Right? What are the parent to subsidiary scenarios? Both parties has not recorded. Parent record, no subsidiary record. Oh, subsidiary recorded, parent. Well, මේ scenarios තුන වෙන්න පුළුවන්. මේ මෙතන දීලා තියෙනවා subsidiary to parent. Both parties not recorded නෑ ඒක නේද මොන party එකද record කරන්නේ නැත්තේ parent has been not recorded මේක විතරයි මේක තමයි scenario දැන් scenarios කීයද scenarios දෙනවා 1 2 3 4 5 6 what is this scenario 5 මොකද scenario එක මෙන්න මේ scenario එක මොකද scenario එක subsidiary has given a service to parent, right? Parent has not recorded. Subsidiary has recorded, right? Within a mukutma chira rehta that's one. The monthly charge was 20,000. The annual fee has been recorded in books of Q only. එහෙම කියලා නැත්නම් මොකද ඉතින්? දෙකේම රෙකෝඩ් කරලා කියන. මෙයා විතරක් රෙකෝඩ් කරා කිව්වොත් අපිට පැහැදිලි. This parent entity has not recorded. Right? Keep remember that once you are doing consolidated adjustment, if it is communicated, if there's a missing thing, it should be communicated. Otherwise, you have to take it positively. Okay? Silent and monitoring together. It pass करला दिए. Right? So you know that once you are resolving this error correction at the O levels on error correction, study karani. Once you are doing error correction, if it is silent, if one entry missing, it should be communicated. If silent, you assume that it is passed. Right? Keep remember that logic. Okay. So once you are coming back to here, what's happening? How then QB being recorded that? It's an income to them, right? So income, how much? 240,000. What's the double entry he has put? Other income credit 240. Other income. In other words, what is this? Return earnings said I didn't give of them. Okay. Subsidiary return earnings. Right. This recorded credit, debit, parent receivable, debit 240. Okay. Now what we are going to do? Reverse this entry. Credit parent receivable, debit to subsidiary return earnings. Reverse it. Then that's it. Reverse that transaction. And note take moment liya. So So there may be different scenarios under this. There may be different scenarios under this here. Other income, parent to subsidiary, subsidiary to parent. Other income, parent to subsidiary, subsidiary to parent. Both parties non-adjusted. Parent non-adjusted, subsidiary non-adjusted. There may be different scenarios. Adjustment complicated කරගන්න ඕනේ නැත්නම් මේක අවුස්සක් කරලා adjustment කියපු විදිහට adjust කරනවා. Right? In the exam paper, it will be very clear once you are getting the question. ඊට පස්සේ example 8. Example 8 කියන්නේ මේකනේ. Example 8 relate to scenario 5. කියලා දාලා මේක දාගන්න. එතන තමයි note ලියන්නේ. These are the scenarios. This is the example. Example relate to the scenario. Parent has given only he adjusted. Sorry, subsidiary has given only subsidiary adjusted. Parent has not adjusted, and then this is the way we need to adjust it. බලාගන්න බැරි කියන තියෙනවා අහන්න. Parent to subsidiary, both parties has not adjusted. Both parties has not recorded. Parent has not recorded. Parent only not recorded. Subsidiary only not recorded. එතකොට එහා පැත්තේ මොකක්ද දීලා තියෙන්නේ? Subsidiary to parent. ඒකේ තියෙනවා both parties has not recorded. Parent has not recorded. Subsidiary not recorded. Okay? 6 scenarios. එතකොට මේ scenario එක මොකක්ද? කියන එක තමයි කිව්වේ මම. This question 8 relating to that scenario 5. How we are going to correct it? Like this. Other income, subsidiary return earnings. Record වෙලා තියෙන්නේ credit වෙලා. මේක record වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. මේක record වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. Parents receivable. Recorded as in credit here, debit here. Make a report here. What is the console entry? Other income or subsidy return and debit, credit to receivable account. Subsidy return earnings. This is the double entry, right? To correct the entry is the double entry. Right? A. We are coming to intercompany rent. Put the topic intercompany rent. Right? Right. You may have different scenarios. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The adjustment may be 8 possible scenarios. Maybe some more than that. Okay. The intercompany rent rented by parent to subsidiary or rented by subsidiary to parent. So short-term rent may be less than 1 year, less than 1 year, more than 1 year, less than 1 year, more than 1. Rented a property. Property mean අපි කරන් ඉන්න පාඩමක් investment property නේද? අපි කරපු පාඩම investment property. Investment property is a property we are keeping for renting purpose or capital appreciation. So property we are keeping for renting or capital appreciation, right? IP for other assets. Other assets, vehicle එකක් rent කරලා තියෙනවා. Not for 1 year, more than 1 year, 5 years. These scenarios, these are possible scenarios. Whatever they say, ACCA, SEMA, chartered, these are the scenarios. Clear, right? So within these scenarios, examiner may ask a question. And you should have a proper understanding of what's happening here. What's the accounting treatment of individual books, parent and subsidiary? Once you're converted into the consolidation, what we need to do? Okay. If it is IP, investment property. What we need to do? Renting party, the party who are renting out in their books, they treated that as an investment property. Right? The person who are having the ownership of the property, they have recognized as IP. The party who are getting, maybe short term this, the long term. Short term, long term මාරු වෙනකොට මොකක්ද වෙන්නේ? Short term නම් only rent. Only rent. Short term නම් only rent. Long term නම් මොකද වෙන්නේ? Long term නම් වාගේ ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා ROUA. Make only rent. Long term now what I know. ROUA. The party who are holding that asset. Recognize the ROUA, right of use asset. Okay. Then what we need to do? This is what we need to do. So the karate. If this is the case, it will be very easy, right? Why? One party has recognized the asset, other party has recognized the rent expense, and the party who are keeping the asset identifying rent income. Okay, rent income. Because they just recognize the rent. Here, what we need to do? Here, if it is a property, you still recognize that as IP. Right? So you need to transfer that to PBIT. If you have recognized that as an IP in the books, under this property line, the party who are holding this, the party who are renting out, parent or subsidiary, if they have recognized that as an IP, right? IP should be transferred into PPE. We translate PPE. Why? As a one entity, there's no such a renting business. It is using for admin purpose, right? To admin purpose. Then, whatever the rent recognized, whatever the rent, income and expense recognized should be reversed. Be reversed. Okay. That is for short-term rent of property. Once you are coming to long-term rent, the party who are giving the building, having the IP, the party who are getting the building, having a ROUA asset, right of use asset. Right? We don't have any right of use asset. We need to remove that right of use asset and the lease liability. Once you are creating right of use asset, you are creating a liability as well. You are creating a liability as well. Right? That should be reversed. That should be reversed. Okay, that should be reversed. And here also, same. Parent to substitute parent. The implication is what? Whether වෙලා තියෙන්නේ ඒකම ගන්න බෑ. That's a thought. We are discussing about property. We are discussing about property. We are discussing about property. We need to adjust that. And if it's other asset, we are not taking that as IP. Right? The asset is with the person who are giving that asset in the BP register. Right? And other party has recognized that as a rent expense. And party who are giving recognized as rent income. Rent income and expense should be eliminated. Asset should be there as it is. No issue. And if they are recognizing right of use asset against that asset, that should be eliminated with the income. It is a long-term purpose. This is the scenarios. One by one, put study කරගන්න. මේක ටිකක් complicated. ඒකයි අන්තිම එකක් කියන්නේ. ඒක ටිකක් complicated. A scenario එක මොකක්ද? You has rented a 2-story building to P. Annual rent income was 1.5 million. The rent transaction was recorded in both parties' books. So the make it complicated. Then, what do the take a party can rent a nice girl, and the right? One party can recognize, other party can miss. Other party can recognize, other party can miss. Both parties can miss. Both parties can report it. There are make a scenario some scenarios can record karada at the basis. Are you getting me? One party can record, other party can miss. Other party can record, one party can miss. Both parties can miss, both parties can report. 4 scenarios here. Each and every scenario. Right? This is about rent. Now make a note other than that. Make a note other than that. Okay, that's up to the out the good week. Make a note there. Either point. I'll make explain them next week. Don't want to clear ඊට වඩා අමාරු දෙයක් කියලා දෙන්න තමයි දැන් යන්නේ. ක්ලාස් එක ඉවර කරන්නේ. 3:30 4 වෙනකම් තියෙනවා කියලා. 3:30 3. So we are coming to here. Intergovernment rent කියන topic එක ලියුවද? දැන් මොකද කරන්නේ? ඒකට පිටු හතරක් විතර ඉඳ තියන්න නේද? දැන් ඉතල තියන්න එපා. page එකක් තියලා page එකක් විතර තියලා ලියන්නේ intercompany intercompany sales and unrealized gain. Intercompany sales and unrealized gain. So, yes. Yes, I did. Intercompany sales and unrealized gains. This area very, bit tricky. Should understand. Focus, right? Very adjustment. Whatever the consolidation with the goodwill calculation, this intercompany sales are a common adjustment, right? Intercompany sales and unrealized gain, right? You understood that once we are having intercompany this PPND, we have an unrealized gain in between both parties. Unrealized gain is nothing. Why? Once we are selling it to other party, it is inside the business. We have recognized the gain. It is unrealized gain. What we did, unrealized gain reversed. Right. Once you are having this normal sales in between related parties, if there is an unrealized gain, it should be reversed. Right? It should be reversed. Before that, the sales also may be overstated sometimes. that should be reverse once you are doing your P&L. Okay. So carefully, you can understand what's happening here. The parent entity, subsidiary entity, right? Parent purchase some items from outside, from 100. Parent purchase 100, right? It will be sold to subsidiary, how much? 150. 150. Sales. Sales how much? 150. Cost of sales 100. Gross margin 50. Are you okay? Okay. Right. Then the subsidiary company selling this 150 items to an outsider, to 200. 200. Right? To subsidiary, sales 200, cost of sale 150. 50 gross margin. Okay? Right. Once you are doing consolidated P&L, what you are going to do then? You are going to add line by line consolidation. At the point of doing consolidation, what you are doing? Sales. P company 150, Q company 200, consolidated sales 350. Consolidated cost of sales 250. Consolidated gross margin 100 equal. Right? You can see this. It reflects that as a one group, we have sold out how much? How much? 350. We have sold out 350. Our cost of sales 250. Gross margin 100. Question is, as a one entity, have we sold out 350? 350? No, we sold out only 200. Only 200. Right? Only 200. Then, as a one entity, we purchase 400, sold to 200. Okay? This year as a one entity. See it 200. That's it. Then that should be a reflection of the vendor owner. 200, 100. This should be the reflection. This is the correct console P&L. But if you are adding line by line, you are ending with this. Then this intercompany sales, one transaction should be eliminated. But you can see there's no impact to the bottom line. Gross margin equal 100, 100, 50, 50. What we are going to do then? This we consider this is the sales transaction. right? This is the cost of sales. Other these two, this amount and this amount, this is the intercompany transaction. This should be eliminated from this. It should be eliminated. Then 150 minus here, 150 minus here, 150 minus here. Making 150 අඩු කරාම කීයද? 200. Making 150 අඩු කරාම 100. You are eliminating intercompany transaction. Otherwise, your sales and cost of sales will be overstated. Your sales and cost of sales will be overstated. To eliminate that overstatement, whatever the sales and sales amount should be removed from sales as well as cost of sales, same amount. Cost of sales is the amount. There's no impact to the profitability, right? There's no impact to the profitability. Okay, that is about the P&L side. There's another part. There's another part. What is that? Here we did discuss about what? Unrealized gain. Unrealized gain. Here there may be, let's say, you are selling something to them. They are not selling everything to outside. They are keeping something. They are keeping something here as inventory. If it is so, that here there's no such unrealized gain adjustment. Gain negative put impact. It's a classification change. Right? The disaster will be happen if you have not sold out this one. Why? If there's a unrealized gain, that will be impact to the profitability. That will be impact to the profitability. How we are going to adjust that? How we are going to get this question? You are having intercompany transaction 150, but you have already sold 100 items, 50 remaining in your stock. That 50 may consist with 3 gain. That gain should be eliminated. Again, intercompany gain මේ ක්වෙස්චන් එක මොකක්ද කියන්නේ කියලා බලන්න. එතන මොකද කියලා තියෙන්නේ? He has sold. He කියන්නේ කවුද? Parent. Parent sold 500 worth of goods to Q. 20% markup. Their remaining inventory of Q consisted 200 worth of goods. 500 විකුණලා 200 inventory එකේ තියෙනවා. දැන් ප්‍රශ්නේ මොකද්ද? අර 500 විකුණලා 200 තාම stock එකේ තියෙනවා. We are selling this to this company with a gain. That gain still in the company. Still in the company. That should be removed. So we sold 500 to here. Once we are selling this 500, we are keeping a gain. When 500 sell කරනකොට අපි මේ ගත්තේ ඉතින් 300 here. 300 නම් ගත්තේ. Once we are selling 500, we are keeping 200 gain. That gain keeping inside the organization still if you are not selling out to outsiders. Right? අපි මොකක්ද කරන්නේ? අපි හිතමු මේ 500 ම sell කරේ නැහැ කියලා. මේ 500 ම sell කරේ නැත්නම් අපි මොකද කරන්නේ? අර PPE adjustment එකම තමයි. 500 ම sell කරේ නැත්නම් we purchased 300. 500 here. We recognize 200 gain here. We are not sold out this to outside. All are in the inventory. Then what we are going to, what we supposed to do as a one entity? As a one entity, your inventory overstated. Your inventory should be how much? Your inventory should be 300. Your gain overstated 200. What's the double end today? Inventory of subsidiary credit 200. Credit 200. Your profit debit 200. That's unrealized gain. Unrealized gain. Okay. So, in nutshell, once you are having intercompany transactions, intercompany transaction, not intercompany sales, we are having two scenarios, right? Two scenarios. Once you are preparing your P&L, if it is requested to do the P&L, we need to do this classification. P&L. Console P&L, we need to do this classification. If you are not requested to do the console P&L, make our share there. Intercompany sales, eliminate. You are directly coming to where? Unrealized gain. Right? Unrealized gain, calculate the unrealized gain and adjust it. Unrealized gain is the unrealized gain with the parent or subsidiary. For parent now, once you are selling, your unrealized gain with you. If you are selling, if you are purchasing, unrealized gain with the subsidiary. Right? Parent sell करो, ये item का account है, subsidiary का. Subsidiary का sell करो, ये item के parent का. Unrealized ना, sell करे नंतर एलिएट. एक inventory विधि स्टॉक के का गावत रहेंगे. मैं आगाव. Parent के subsidiary का तो subsidiary का, subsidiary parent के का तो parent का. Are you okay? It should be clear. Parent है वाली. Parent subsidiary का भी कौन हो? We are selling. Parent will sell to subsidiary, right? Subsidiary will keep that as unrealized item. So then that will be remaining subsidiary stock. Right? So subsidiary की stock के कम कर देते हैं. Overstated. Subsidiary parent भी कौन है? Parent के stock overstated. Right? It is obvious that inventory should be adjusted. Inventory credit unrealized gain. Right? Inventory का adjusted मुकद्दर. That's the price as a one entity, there's no such a gain. And that unrealized gain, once parent selling to subsidiary, parent has recorded the gain. And margin they got there. Right? That should be reversed. That should be reversed. Okay. Then what's the double entry? Unrealized gain double entry. Retained earnings debit, credit to inventory. Retained earnings debit, credit to inventory. If it is sold by the parent, inventory of subsidiary credit, consolidated earnings debit. If it is sold by the subsidiary earnings debit, parent's inventory credit. That's it. ඒක කරන්න විදිය තමයි කියලා දෙන්න. හරි ලේසි. අටපාඩම් කරන්න ඉන්න පුළුවන් එක්සෑම් එකේදී. හැබැයි තේරුම් ගන්න ඕනේ. We have sold 500 worth of goods. How much during the period? 5,500 worth of goods sold. 20% markup. When the method is markup margin. 20% markup. අපි ratios කතා කරනකොට ඒ notes එක බලන්න ඒ පැත්තට යන්න පුළුවන් ratios කතා කරනකොට margin හරි markup කියලා මේක කතා කරයි කියලා ලියා ගන්න. බලන්න එහෙම note තියෙනවද? ratios notes ගිහිල්ලා margin, gross margin කතා කරන්නේ markup කියලා එකක්. margin markup කියලා කතා කරගෙන කියලා. margin. Anything like that? No. අතන නෑ. අතරා. තියාගත්තේ නැතුවද? Margin, I think you know. Margin and the markup. Margin means your gross profit. Gross profit will display the comparison of sales. Markup, your gross profit will display comparison of cost of sales. Right? Cost of sales. Let's say your margin, your sales 2. Your sales 2. Cost of sales 1. How much the gross margin? 1. Okay. Gross margin. Margin is 1. Gross margin how much? 1 divided by 2. This is the gross margin. How much? 50%. Okay. Your markup is the you are getting from the cost. You are getting from the cost. Your margin is 1. Your cost of sale 1. 1 out of 1. How much? 100%. Your markup 100%. Your margin 50%. Right? Let's say here you are getting 4. You are getting 3. While sales here 4. Cost of sales 3. Margin 4. While gross margin here 1 divided by 4. Right? How much? 25%. Once you are coming to markup, 1 divided by 3. 1 divided by 3 now. Markup 33.31. If you are ending with 1/4, markup is 1/3. Right? If you are ending with 1/5, how about the markup? 1/4. Right? Right. Here was the scenario. Your markup is what? 20. 20 means 1. Markup to 20. Markup 20 means 1/5. 1/5. Right? And then yeah. Your margin 1, 6. The margin 1, 6. 1/5. No, markup either. 1, 6 තමයි margin එක. ඒ bulk sales කීයද? Sales 6. Cost of sale 5. Margin 1. Because of that, your margin 1/6. Markup 1/5 today. Make it a markup 1/5. 1/5. That means 20%. Right? It's all yours. Right? Margin and markup. Simple. Your markup 20%. Then margin all obviously 1/6. Get the 1/6 this unrealized profit. Unrealized amount how much? 200,000. We sold 500,000, ending with 200,000. Right? 200,000. Calculated the unrealized profit. Unrealized profit and put the double entry. Unrealized profit and put the double entry. How we are going to get? Make it කොයිද තියෙන්නේ? Parent විකුණලා තියෙන්නේ. ආගෙද තියෙන්නේ inventory එකේ. Subsidiary inventory consists with 200,000. 200,000. What's the gain? 200,000 sales value into 1/6. Calculate the amount and put the double entry. What's the double entry? What's the double entry? What's the double entry? Subsidiary return and is credit. Sorry. Subsidiary inventory credit. This amount. Consolidated earnings debit. Amount. Unrealized gain. Right? That is the double entry. Okay, just කියලා දුන්නේ. I will repeat this next week. This is an intercompany rate, right? Just have a kind of a basic understanding. I will repeat this again. That's why I wanted to rent එක ඉවර කරන්න තිබුණා. එහෙම කරන්න නැතුව මේකත් ටක් ගාලා කිව්වේ. I want to repeat this because it's a bit complicated. Right? I will explain this again next week and I will give a note about intercompany rent and intercompany sales. Right? So I hope that is clear. So all these adjustments done there. Other than this investment in associate. We'll finish these 3 and next week we are doing fully console question in the classroom. Right? Fully exam type of console question. So that's it for today. Right? So we stop at the auspicious time. Right? Done. Any questions? Okay, intercompany rate, intercompany sales, don't worry about that. Right? I will explain it again. These bit, very common, but will be bit complicated. We'll start tomorrow or tomorrow, next day with this two, and we can understand it very freshly. Let's have a note, and then we'll jump into a full console question. Take a upload color the second model paper question. Right? So we can discuss that. Then and there we can do exam papers. We can do full questions. And next week, I expect to have this 6 questions. right? As a separate booklet, that will be assigned. Okay. That's it for today, I think.